Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to take some time to talk to you guys a little bit about Drawloween. Drawloween is a drawing challenge similar to Inktober, but it's created by different artists. Inktober is a drawing challenge in October, created by Jake Parker a few years ago, and the original goal was just to challenge artists to create some work every day of October. And he has different prompts that challenge you in different ways, and it's fun. It's brought a lot of people in the art community together for years. I have decided to no longer do Inktober because Jake Parker has decided to copyright the name Inktober and even go as far as to sue or try to get financial compensation from all the artists that are using the word Inktober in their work, and go on to sell those images at the end of October. A lot of artists have made money selling prints, stickers, originals. They've made like little coffee table books, coloring pages, and all sorts of things using the Inktober brand name and along with the challenge, and I love that for them. But he created the challenge and he decided he wants to protect his brand, and that's what he decided to do. I personally do not want Jake Parker to have any financial ties to any of my work. If I decide to sell it from a drawing challenge, that's just supposed to be a fun thing to bring everybody together. So I decided to do a different one, following another artist prompts. So the prompt that I'm doing this year is called Drawloween. It was created by Mab Graves on Instagram. She's an artist that I've been following for years, and I really love her work. I really love the fact that she released her Drawloween prompt list in early September. So if you are somebody that is interested in doing this challenge, you have like ample time to do your research, do your thumbnailing, your sketches, your planning, and figure out what you want to do and what exactly you want to commit to. I really love all the effort she put into making this challenge fun and not put so much pressure on artists. I really appreciate that. So she created like 31 prompts for all 31 days of October, but then she did a light list, which is like every other day of October, and then she took it a step further and did the once a week challenge. So each week you can just do a prompt, and those prompts kind of match up with the 31 days. So if you ever wanted to go back and do some more, you can. So it's just if you can commit to all the days, great. If you just wanted to do every other day, great. If you just wanted to do once a week, great. If all you can do is just one drawing this month, even if it's not a fully rendered, detailed, like finished piece, if it's just a quick little doodle or squiggle or whatever in your sketchbook, and doesn't matter what medium you use. You can draw, you can paint, you can ink. It can be digital, traditional, acrylic, gouache, oil, whatever your medium of choice is, you're free to do so. So I really appreciate that. I personally have picked out the prompts that I was interested in drawing, and started planning different ideas. I looked on Pinterest, tried to see what my reference images would be like, I have my favorites and everything like that. So I just kind of want to go over like how I prepared for this challenge. I recorded some footage earlier today in the daylight, and I'll just kind of overlay it as I'm talking now. So the Drawloween paintings that I want to do this month, I wanted to just commit to the week challenges for the paintings, because my paintings can take anywhere between 4 to 8 hours, and I'm not really sure what my work schedule would be like this month. I work 2 jobs. When it's really busy, I can work about 6 days a week. When it's kind of average, I can work about 4 days a week, 3 days a week, or whatever. It depends on how busy things are at work or whatever. So I made a list of all of the prompts that she made that I was interested in painting. I was really interested in the monster self-portrait, the classic horror, Frankenstein, Omen, Fairy Tale. Like, I really had a lot of fun kind of like do research for those. So to prepare for the monster self-portrait, first thing that came to mind that kind of would tie into some of the other ones, because I saw Frankenstein and then I saw the monster mash where you take two different monsters and kind of mix their features, the monster self-portraits, and classic horror. I thought in order to kind of tie all four of those together, I would do Frankenstein's monster mixed with my portrait, or the monster self-portrait, and then I did Frankenstein's wife for the classic horror, and then there's obviously Frankenstein, and then I'm going to mix Frankenstein with somebody else's features for the last day of the month, and that'll be like the week 5 challenge as well. So I feel like a good way to kind of tie those things together would be to paint all of them. So far the paintings that I want to tackle, so far the paintings that I have done are the monster self-portrait, the classic horror, Omen, and Fairy Tale. So I did those 4 prompts already. I just have to paint the monster mash mix, and I'm going to mix Frankenstein with another monster. I don't want to give too many details because I haven't painted that one yet and I haven't posted it yet, and I don't know when I'm going to post this video. So I don't want to give you guys like too much of a sneak peek. First one, I drew it in my blue mechanical pencils. I'm going to make a video later showing you guys my favorite art supplies, but like this isn't that one. I'll film that one later. I did this portrait with the blue mechanical color pencils, and I decided to go over with markers to try and figure out how I wanted the lighting to look and what the colors would be like and all that before I commit to a painting. But markers are not my medium of expertise. Like, I don't know how to blend markers or do all that stuff, and my boyfriend got a really good deal on like Prismacolor markers and watercolor markers. Usually Prismacolor markers are like $7 each and they're like super expensive, but they had like a really good sale at Michael's. $1 per marker. So like we really looked out. He uses them for his coloring books, and I use them to help render my sketches, and sometimes we color together. So that was fun. So I drew the monster girl for Frankenstein's wife, and then I drew a self-portrait of me with her hair and in a similar pose. Like, I just scrolled through my phone to find like similar poses to me, of me in my phone that matches the pose that I wanted to do of her based on my reference images. Okay. I kind of jumped around with this challenge. I didn't do it in order as far as drawing. I did it in order of like my interest, and then I'm posting the videos in order with the challenge, if that makes sense to you guys at all. I have never drawn a house before, so I found some houses that I wanted to draw on Pinterest. So for the Fairy Tale, I wanted to do the house from Hansel and Gretel, like the candy house that the kids were lured to by the witch. When I googled candy houses, I found like a bunch of ugly ass gingerbread houses, and that just wasn't the thing that I was trying to do. And then I tried looking up like more house like candy houses. I found some pictures that were kind of pixelated and just not the angle that I wanted to draw it. So what I did was I googled pastel houses instead, and they were gorgeous. I really like all the details that goes into making a house look like a work of art itself just by the outside. So that was fun. And then I just started drawing some sketches based on the houses that I saw. I didn't focus on details. I didn't focus on, you know, getting all the proportions and stuff right. I just really wanted to try and experiment with drawing a thumbnail sketches of what I saw. So yeah. And then I drew a haunted house based on some haunted houses I saw people were building on Pinterest. These are just like houses that people either drew or people either built little miniature decorations of houses, and I just added my own elements to it, and that was fun. I think I may paint this one later, but I just didn't do that yet. I painted this witch girl. I drew this witch girl. I didn't like the first one, so I did it again. And I drew a circle around her. And when I paint that, I want to add some gold to that outer circle, some silver, or maybe even gold to like the little moon cycle that I drew around the rim of her hat. For Night Circus, I didn't want to go too deep with the concept. I didn't want to stress myself out, so I just stuck to this idea of a tent with stripes on it. And I could paint that later, and it would just be like a red and black tint. Very simple. I already drew a concept for the prompt Hunted. I just showed you guys the haunted house I did. But I saw this cake on TikTok that was so aesthetic. And I think that name is like Fancy Creations or something. If I find it, I'm going to like tag them or put their name in the description below. But it looks so cute and aesthetic. It was like this pastel cake with, they use liquid marshmallow to cobwebs, and then they use like these decorated little cookies at the base for the haunted houses. Like, it was so aesthetic. I just added in some eyeballs and some bats, and then I painted it, but I did not record it. So I just made like a post painting TikTok, and then I upload the short to YouTube. So if you guys want to see that one, then it's on YouTube already. There you go. The candy house that I did for the fairy tale one. So I found the house on Pinterest, and I found like some of the features that I wanted to draw, and I kept it. And then I used a ruler to really make sure that everything was lined up, because when you draw houses, you can't just freehand it, or at least I can't just freehand it. Like, I have to make sure that I use a ruler in order to get the proportions right. Otherwise, it's just not gonna come out right, and it's gonna look wonky, and just I'm gonna hate it. So I really want to make sure that I got all the proportions right, and I used ruler, different things that kind of shape around it. I forget what they're called, but they're like rulers, but they're different shapes. And I used those things to make sure that everything was like nice and even and looked cool. I used pastel elements similar to those pastel houses that I looked up, and then I added candy features to the house. But I didn't want the house to look like it was completely made of candy. I just wanted it to be this aesthetic looking pastel house with candy elements. So I added some Valentine's Day candy, some jelly beans. I literally just looked up aesthetic candy, and I found like candy that comes in different colors that you don't typically see like around Halloween. Like, I found some pastel jelly beans. I found like some different color Valentine's Day heart candies with the writing on it. I found like different colored candy corn. I've always liked candy corn as a decoration, but I will not eat anyways candy corn. Like, it's just so gross to me. I don't like it. But it's really cute, it's very aesthetic, and it definitely gives those fall Halloween vibes. So I wanted to add it there. In the original sketch, you may see like these little, like these things right here. I originally wanted to add Dots candy to it that you sometimes see people use to make gingerbread houses. But in the end, I decided to just paint over that line work and just make it solid and just leave it alone, because I just didn't feel like trying to like nitpick and make all those details. I added some gummy worms. These little dots, they kind of look like Skittles. They kind of look like M&Ms, but they don't have any writing on them. I wanted to add some of those candies. They're the type of candy that you only see if you like go to a candy shop. Yeah, they're just like these dots. Sometimes they're like on a sheet of paper, just like these little dots. Sometimes they're by themselves. Like, I don't know what that kind of candy is called, but it looks nice and aesthetic, so I added it. And then I added some candy canes, but I changed the color pattern because I wanted the color scheme to be about the same. And then when I posted the video of me painting this, I made sure to show you guys the colors that I was using and the color scheme and how I kept up with it and all that. So if you want to see the video of me painting this, it's already posted. I scheduled it to post on October 15th, and right now I'm recording this on October 14th. When I first uploaded the video, it was public and somebody made a comment on it, and I was like, oh no, it's public, and I went to go schedule it, and then I noticed somebody unfollowed me. So if you're that person, I'm sorry. I just didn't want that video to be public at the moment. I wanted my sketches to line up with the days for Drawloween. I was like, nothing against you. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I was having, for a brief period of time, I was having dreams about snake people. They didn't look like the snake that I painted for Omen, but I had some dreams about snake people, and I wanted to draw the snake for the Omen, because I was like having those dreams, and I was like, what does it mean? What does it mean? Yeah, so I painted a snake for Omen, and I'm gonna have it go out next week, drawing video of me painting it. So yeah, I took some footage of how I prepped for the last Drawloween prompts. So I knew I wanted to mix Frankenstein with another monster, like from classic horror films. And so I drew that creature first, and then I drew Frankenstein, and then I drew like a mixture of Frankenstein and that other monster, and just kind of took features from both different poses and just kind of mixed it together. And when I painted, I'll show you guys how that all turned out. But that'll be like the last painting that I do for October for Drawloween, because that's the last prompt. For UFO, I decided to go with this girl. I've always liked art where they have this girl with their heads cut in the middle, and then there's like something coming out of it, or there's something growing out of the face, like mushrooms, or I don't know, there's insects or spiders or gummy worms, whatever kind of crawling out of it. I've always loved work like that, and I've wanted to create it for so long. So that is what I decided to add for the UFO prompt at the end of the month. While I worked forward, I looked up some images of how other artists had rendered theirs, and then I got an idea of how I wanted to do it. And then I just drew a girl, like this girl, I don't have a reference for her or anything. I just drew a girl, gave her some power puffs, and drew some mushrooms coming out of her face, and I drew an alien in the middle. Like her face is here and here, and then there's an alien right here. And I'm gonna add some other elements when I paint it, but I just wanted to get that line work down. For Labyrinth, I googled some images of Labyrinth, and I drew like a basic little doodle. I didn't want to paint it because I feel like I wouldn't be able to keep the line weight even for all of the little turns and stuff. It's kind of like a maze. I like the way it looks, but unless I figure out how to have a nice even line weight as I'm curving and making all those little turns, I'm just gonna leave it alone and just leave it as like a nice little doodle. For day 27, the prompt is called Crypt. I looked up, I did like a Google image search of like what is a crypt and what does that look like, and I found like the most basic looking thing I could find, because I just didn't want this drawing challenge to be stressful. And I drew like a little house that's kind of like has bricks on it, has like a little doorway, but it's just black. Like you don't know what the hell's in there, you don't know who's in there or what. It's just like stay away from that thing over there. So I might paint that because I don't know, it's basic and you guys might like it, but I don't know, I feel like it's a little basic compared to all the stuff that I've been doing and all the details that I've put into it. Day 5 was cryptid, and I decided to go with a mermaid and give her some spider web element. I drew it in my sketchbook originally, and then I used this stuff called a charcoal transfer paper to transfer it over to my watercolor sketchbook, and I've used that a lot. My sketches, if I like a sketch in my sketchbook and I want to have the exact proportions and the exact features I drew in my sketchbook onto the watercolor paper, then I've been using that charcoal transfer paper. But if I want to change a few things here and there, or I feel like I'm pretty familiar with it, then I'll just draw it. One of my mechanical pencils. I've been loving using the purple and the blue mechanical pencils. I feel like that creates a nice baseline work, and because the lead is softer than regular lead, I'm able to draw and erase a little better. It doesn't fade away as much as like charcoal lead, but it still looks pretty decent with watercolor, especially with the way that I go about doing it. For day 7, it is a werewolf. The first time I drew this girl that I wanted to kind of turn into a werewolf, like her mouth was kind of weird and the proportions were off, so I just drew a smaller version of her with some furry ears, and she's just kind of licking her lips, and there's like blood dripping from her mouth. I might paint this if I figure out how to render this concept properly, but until then I'll just leave it as a sketch. Day 17 is a vampire. I just googled the image vampire and I saw some girls, and I found something that I like in terms of like the elements and stuff, and I think I will paint this one later. Just like a girl in a ponytail, and she had like a black tank top and a black choker, and she had like this really long bushy ponytail. She had like red and black makeup on, but it was like a nice little ombre and contacts, and I thought that looked really nice, really simple. I'm not trying to do all the details of like what we do in the shadows and like how they dress or anything. I just wanted like a modern teenage vampire looking chick, and I found some things that I like, and there's some things I just want to change about it to, like, I don't know, be a little bit more interesting. So yeah, I got my line work down. I don't always do the whole thumbnail thing that other artists do. I just do a little sketch and I try and render as many details as I want. And once I get the concept down the way I like, then I'll either transfer it to a watercolor sketchbook or I'll just redraw it. Because sometimes when you transfer using the charcoal paper, then like you can get marks on the watercolor paper that aren't able to erase because of how hard you have to press down. Yeah, it doesn't erase as well as you just drawing it, and sometimes it's better to just redraw it. I'm just trying to get used to doing it more so that I can make my life a lot easier. Work smarter, not harder. But yeah, like that's how I basically got prepared for Drawloween. I'm gonna try and insert some clips over me talking so that you guys can see exactly what I am talking about. You are more than welcome to participate in this challenge if you would like, or you can participate in other drawing challenges. Even if it's no longer October when you're watching this video, you can participate in this challenge if it's January. If it's something you like, just probably won't gain as much traction if you try and post it on social media, because there'll probably be a new drawing challenge out and there will be different prompts and stuff next year. But if you just kind of want to warm up and get used to doing drawing challenges, then you can go back and do old ones if you like. And if you want to do Inktober this year, I'm not shaming you, I'm not picking on you. Sorry, that's a burp. I'm not shaming you, I'm not picking on you, I'm not saying you're wrong or whatever. If that's what you want to do and that's what you enjoy, then great. If you guys have fun this October and are able to get the most out of spooky season. And I have really been trying to learn how to do video editing on my phone with the video app that I have and utilize more of the features that it offers. And I've really been trying to like document more of my process to make these videos more entertaining for you. So if you like my videos, please like, please subscribe. If you have any questions or anything, then feel free to leave a comment. If there's somebody in your life that you feel like would enjoy this kind of content, then feel free to share it with them. And thank you guys so much for watching. You're so super cool if you made it all the way to the end of this video, because I know it's kind of long. But yeah, thank you. Bye.